think I'm spooky?
Be afraid. Be very afraid. What have you done to his eyes?
Good evening and welcome to Soft and Spooky. For today's video, I thought it would be super fun to celebrate Father's Day this month by creating a tier list where I rank all of the dads in horror movies. Yes, I am well aware that Father's Day has already passed, but I'm trying my best. When I do my tier list videos, basically I'm just kind of ranking different horror-related things from my perception of horrible to great. And yeah, basically that's it. So without further ado, let's sink our teeth in.
You are my dad. You're my dad. Wookie, wookie, wookie.
For the first dad, and this is so weird feeling on my face. For the first father on this list, we do need to talk about quite possibly the most frustrating father on this list, Louis Creed.
I am not a jack-o'-lantern. My name is Louis.
So he plays the lead in the infamous Stephen King book and later movie adaptation, Pet Sematary. This man, he does not learn from his bad decisions. In his defense, playing kind of devil's advocate here, I know that he is a man overcome with grief, and there's a series of unfortunate events. This is actually one of the Stephen King books that I didn't even finish because at that particular time in my life, I could not handle just how relentlessly bleak it was and just heavy. No, really, it's almost 400 pages. Oh, that looks weird. So basically the premise of this story is that a family experiences two tragedies back to back. So first their family cat Church dies, and their neighbor Judd informs them about this possessed pet burial ground. General rule of thumb, maybe don't bury something in a possessed burial ground. You're gonna have a bad time. So after being buried in this burial ground, the cat Church comes back to life, but it's not quite right.
That boy ain't right.
Now it is aggressive and it smells bad, same. And it's not the cat that they once knew. Unfortunately, this is not where the tragedy ends, and someone else in the family passes away, and Louis makes the ill-fated decision to bury them in the same cemetery. I think the biggest reason that I find this father to be so frustrating is that, you saw what this burial ground did to the cat. Why would you think that's a good idea? The horrors that this man unleashes because he made that decision, I think it's unforgivable. And he also, even at the end, continues to make an even more stupid decision. So I think we're gonna have to start off strong, and this guy is all the way down at the C tier. The only reason that he doesn't get down at the bottom is it's really sad and I feel bad for him. Next up, we're gonna be looking at the zombie movie, Train to Busan. I will just state up front, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced the title of the movie or the actor's name. I did try to watch some interviews as well as videos on it, and I felt as though some of them pronounced it differently, and so I don't know what the correct pronunciation is. Editing me, popping in here. Apparently I didn't do enough research and I completely forgot the main character's actual name because I kept saying Sok-woon in this video, and this is the actual character's name, so not sure where I got that from. Hope it's not too distracting. Okay, bye. Okay, so the father in this movie is Sok-woon. The premise of this film is centered around a father that has not been very attentive. He's kind of distant from his daughter, especially after the divorce. And so he's taking his daughter on a train ride when a zombie outbreak breaks out. Throughout the film, it is very satisfying to see that Sok-woon basically goes from an arrogant, self-serving businessman to a hero. If you haven't seen this movie, I honestly recommend it. It's a very tense, exciting, and emotional movie. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This movie, it snatched a couple tears from me. I also really appreciate when a hero is kind of flawed, and I feel like Sok-woon, I'm sorry, he doesn't always make the best choice initially, but the subsequent choices that he makes usually make up for it. And so, I don't know, I thought that was very interesting to see on film. Especially the last decision that he makes in the movie, he's a good father. So I'm definitely going to put him in the A tier just because he is flawed, so he doesn't quite get the S tier. This one looks crazy. After the two somber horror movies, I figured that we kind of pivot and we're going to take a look at this Silly Goose movie, From Dusk Till Dawn. Just as a heads up, this one I do kind of go into spoiler territory just because it does go towards the end of the movie and it's kind of a big plot point. So if you were planning on watching From Dusk Till Dawn, I would hate to spoil it for you. So skip to this part here if you would like to avoid the spoiler. Actually, yeah, I'll do what the hell is that? I'll do the spoiler later. So the father in this movie is named Jacob Fuller, and he is played by Harvey Keitel. It is impossible to not associate him with his character in like Pulp Fiction as well as Reservoir Dogs. Even in this easy breezy Bahamas shirt and hat, he looks so badass. He's a bad dad. Not really. Well, towards the end a little bit. The premise of this film is that a family consisting of a brother and sister and their father, and he's actually a former father in the biblical sense. Ooh, that was hard to say. This one is so, there's like one hair that is just in my nostril.
Don't pick your nose, hon.
I'm not picking it, man. God damn it, I had an itch.
But they are all on a road trip after the passing of their mother, which is also why Jacob lost his faith. Unfortunately, along the way, they get taken hostage by two criminals that eventually take them to this bar that they find out is a haven for bloodsuckers. And this ain't no bar for lawyers. It's a dad video. I have to make a dad joke. It's a part of the culture. Basically, not an ideal situation for his kids, especially for his daughter, because we find out that Richie, one of the criminals, is, a sex offender and subsequent kid diddler, because he's attracted to the teenage daughter.
Do not diddle kids, it's no good diddling kids.
In regards to Jacob's character, I will always love in movies, even if it's not a horror movie, a questioning of faith character. I just think that it's such an interesting sort of journey that a character can go on. He really goes through some harrowing stuff with his family, and I just really appreciate Jacob's story, especially this scene.
You faithless preacher? Or you a mean motherfucking servant of God?
I'm a mean servant of God.
Sadly, despite Jacob's efforts, this is the big spoiler here, by the way, so just be warned. I'm even gonna do big spoiler here. Skip to this point if you don't want the big spoiler. So what happens is he gets bitten by a vampire and he turns into one, and then he kills one of his children. So, pretty irredeemable as a dad. It's so frustrating because towards the end of the film, like he's finding his faith and he's kicking some ass, and then that happens and it's like, you can't come back from that. So unfortunately, he would have been B tier, but because he kills one of his kids, he's getting demoted down to C tier. Next up is one that I feel like doesn't really get talked about very often, but it is a perfect entry for this tier list. We have Jerry Blake from the movie The Stepfather. There was a newer remake that happened that had a little baby Ben Badgley, but I'm gonna be looking at the OG one from 1987. I kind of hate to reveal too much about this if you haven't seen it, but essentially, the stepfather, Jerry, when he is with his new family, if things don't go exactly the way he planned, he is not a happy camper. Basically, he has these expectations about how the family should act, and when they don't act accordingly, it's not good.
So, where do you want to eat tonight?
Well, how about going back to La Caridad?
Again? How much flan can a person eat?
I think I might have to put this guy down in the very bottom because he's like actively trying to kill his family. So probably not the best dad. He is not getting a Father's Day card. I really hope... I got a mustache stuck to me. I really hope you all are enjoying the mustaches because I am having a blast. It's nice to use them for a purpose other than when I work remotely because, big spoiler, trade secret. When you call into the office and I'm working remotely, this is who you're talking to. Next entry is, sorry, that's my knee. The next entry is another zombie movie, but this one's a horror comedy and it's called Shaun of the Dead. The dad on this list is Phillip and he is actually Shaun's stepdad. For a horror comedy, I think that this movie is very successful in kind of hitting those emotional beats and it's pretty impressive. One of which I think is that the character development, or at least understanding Philip's character a lot more, you do feel a lot more connected to the character towards the end. Initially, you just kind of see him as this stepfather that's like pretty deadpan, and he also is just kind of hard on Shaun. But as you get to know the character more, you see that the reason that he's hard on Shaun is because he has so much love for Shaun's mother, and he's basically motivating Shaun to step up and be a better son. This one, I think, is gonna surprise some people if you have seen Shaun of the Dead, but I think in terms of all the fathers on this list, I gotta put Philip in the S tier. Ultimately, the grumpiness that Philip has, it's just because he wants Shaun to do more for his mother. And so, I don't know. I'm gonna put him in the highest tier because he's a good dude. Look at my freaking face, dude. I think this is gonna be the last one that I change into. An entry I didn't think I'd be labeling. We have the smallest dad on this list, Chucky, the Chuckmeister from Seed of Chucky. When you think about it, Chucky technically is a father in the movie Seed of Chucky. And I do know that the TV series, it does kind of like delve in a little bit more into him. I'm gonna sneeze. I know the TV series delves into Chucky being a father a little bit more, but I'm just going to be looking into the context of this film. So Chucky and Tiffany give birth to Glenn/Glenda, and the doll attempts to seek out their parents. Initially, Chucky plays the role of like every overbearing dad in a 90s movie where it's like, you're giving up on your dreams of killing. No, Dad, those are your dreams, not mine. Chucky basically wants like his child to be a murder machine, but Tiffany's trying to like embrace the softer side, so there's a good conflict there. I'm trying not to confuse it too much with the show, but I'm pretty sure like towards the end, Chucky actually becomes very accepting of his child. It basically becomes like this heated custody battle between the two doll parents. So yeah, like I don't think Chucky's the best parent, but he at least like cares about his kid. And you know, that's a lot more than some people could expect. So I'm gonna give some grace, and I love Chucky. So he's going in the C tier. Next up we have, what a guy. It's Guy Woodhouse from Rosemary's Baby. His wife, Rosemary, does have a baby, so like technically he's a father, even though the jury's out if that's actually like any part his child. If you've seen my Rosemary's Baby video before, you know how I feel about this guy. He sucks and I hate him. Have some pretty heavy spoilers here if you were interested in seeing Rosemary's Baby, so skip to this point if you don't want the spoilers. 3, 2, 1. Not only Does he lie to his wife and exchange his firstborn baby so that he can get a couple acting gigs? He is so boring. Just look at those dull, lifeless eyes.
Lifeless eyes. Black eyes like a doll's eyes.
All that aside, even like just looking at him as a father to his little demon spawn, he's super disinterested and uninvolved, and I'm a petty human being, so he's getting a D ranking because he sucks. I need to calm myself down after that entry. So let's go ahead and finish out this tier list with a nice uplifting entry. We're going to be looking at David Drayton from The Mist. See, the joke is that this might be the most depressing film I've ever seen. I will not be spoiling the ending because if you haven't seen it, oh my gosh, please see it. It will destroy you. I still remember I was on vacation with my family and I decided to subject them to it because I had already seen it and it gut punched me. And the only way to like get those awful feelings away are to subject other people to it. And I still don't think they've forgiven me. Anyway, the dad in this film, David, is tasked with trying to keep his family safe in what basically seems like the end of times with a bunch of freaky little critters outside. Unfortunately, doesn't really do the best job of it. He does get trapped in the grocery store with his son, but his wife and daughter are back at home when all hell breaks loose outside. I think overall, when you look at the entirety of the movie, he does make pretty good decisions. He's a very caring dad and protective of his family, except for one decision at the end. Out of all the decisions, the countless decisions and options that you could do, you chose that one? Maybe try literally anything else before that. To be fair though, he is trying his best. And all of the decisions that David makes before that last one, I think that he is a good dad. So I'm giving him so much grace, and he is popping up to the B tier. I know, kind of weird, huh? And that is about it for this tier list. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with any of my rankings. I would love to hear your opinions on it. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and you'd like to see more tier lists. I think they're pretty fun. I enjoy making them. And yeah. Also, if you enjoyed the mustaches, leave it a thumbs up. While you're at it, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I am trying to hit a goal of 500 subscribers in the year 2024, and I am so close. Look at it. And I just would like to kind of create my little crew and have all of you stick around. And with that, I will see you all in the next video. Don't forget to stay soft and spooky. Bye. Also, happy Father's Day, Dad. I love you. Okay, bye.